Alrighty guys, welcome. Good start to the day, guys. So luckily I just got back to the charts in time after having some dinner before the stream to catch some GJ buys. So we'll discuss that. We'll also look at what we have further on moving forward into today's session. So without further ado, guys, let's get the show on the road. As always, good morning, good afternoon, and very good evening, no matter where we are. That's it, around the world. Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, so just got involved in some GJ buys. I've closed the full thing. Really nice confluence to take the entry, really nice catalyst, really nice entry, to be honest, based off the engulfing candle forming at support here to the left hand side in bullish structure on the M30. So for me, it was a pretty stock standard entry. Did pop up to create an upper wick, which was good, because then it popped back down to create a lower wick, and as it broke its own high again, that was where I took a entry and have secured already. So good start to the week. Had some first trade for the week, and without further ado though, we will continue with what we do best, and that is analyzing, not analysing. Analyzing the charts. We will have a look at GJ and gold, and if anyone else has any requests, you guys know what the drill is. Do hit that like button, don't be shy to say g'day guys, and we'll see what we've got cooking on both the GJ and the gold moving forward. All right, so starting without further ado guys, let's have a look at GJ and looking at that weekly candle. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, if we were to break the high of that previous weekly candle, and we're still hovering well, obviously above that 190, 191 flat sort of region, now we're broken that high of the previous weekly candle, I feel there's a good chance we could trend bullish throughout the remainder of the week. Doesn't mean it has to, but probabilities now are to the upside of the weekly time frame, in line with, obviously we're bouncing off the support here to the left hand side. So based off that, be looking to see what levels potentially we could pull back to, and obviously we could look for continuation buys above the high, possibly. Onto the daily time frame, and as we can see, looking above that previous daily candle's high does look pretty good to the left on the higher time frame. Now we are technically bearish, but what we have done is broken and closed above a resistance to the left. Not only that, we've also closed bullish engulfing to that previous daily candle. All this suggests to me further potential for a continued move to the upside, bouncing off support here to the left, that 190 flat region. So looking good for continuation potentially to the upside. Let's just mark in the current daily candles low though, and let's just see if we have any sort of catalyst to perhaps look for sells from the current level. So weekly is bullish, daily bearish, but strong bullish engulfing on that previous daily candle. The 4-hour structure is bullish, and as we can see, we're still remaining above this resistance, which we had broken out of yesterday, which I did speak about yesterday as a level, a key level, and we need to really start to pop above, close above, remain above if we were to continue bullish. So far that is the case. So we have pulled back down to it, only to reject and pop back above. So I'm just going to mark in the most recent level, and we'll see what we've got in the 30 if we can adjust this a little bit to incorporate some wicks to the downside. But I'm just going to leave it at that for the time being. To the upside, just going to use the current day's high. What I can see is there is not a great deal of margin up to a next level of 4-hour resistance, but we may find there is a little bit more room once we go down to the 30-minute time frame. So the 4-hour is definitely bullish in structure. Currently only an hour in, and we are forming a strong bullish candle, popping back above this resistance to the left hand side. So all looking good for continuation at the moment to the upside. Looking at the 30-minute structure, and that is also now technically bullish. So what we do have is we've got an overall bias which is now bullish. We've got the 4-hour and the 30 and the weekly bullish. We've got the daily bearish in structure, but counter probabilities to the upside. So therefore, I'd be more likely to look for potential buys moving forward today. Now, it doesn't mean I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to be interested in any sells. But the better option is to trade in line with the trend, the structure, the bias. So we'll talk about the buy options first of all. I'd just drag this down a little bit. And I would say if we were to pull back yet again and create that equal low, respect the most recent support form within the current daily candle, which is at the current daily candle's low. Now I feel there's a high probability that we would eventually get back up towards the high. So definitely looking for pullbacks to look for my confirmation at support for potential buy options from lower down. So buys make sense from back of this support, guys. Further buy options for me, kind of in the middle of the range right now, so it leaves little margin. We are running into a 30-minute resistance to the left hand side. So the next option for me to buy will be likely upon continuation above that previous daily candle's high. We can see a little bit of consolidation here to the left, but by that point, nonetheless, we could probably get to break even. So what I would be looking for is likely the closure above. Just drag it up a little bit. Potential impulse entries, it all depends on how we approach though, and it's so long as we haven't come from the lows of the current daily candle. So definitely be considering the buys upon continuation above that previous daily candle's high. Let me put that in just now. And now as for the sells, well, all right, so within the current daily candle, yes, we still are forming bullish as of now. Yes, we are still hovering above this 4-hour resistance to the left hand side, but what we have done is on the pullback to create the low wick, we have formed a lower high, lower low. If we were to now confirm another lower high and potentially reject this resistance up around that 193.10 to 193 flat, then there may be some potential options just trading the micro trend within the 4-hour range itself. And as long as you have the margin and the right catalyst to do so, we could potentially look for some sells from resistance on GJ as well. So I'm not going to discount the sell options. I would prefer to buy it. It's always better to trade in line with the trend bias structure. But I would also consider the sells if we were to reject that 193 to 193.10 sort of level. So that is my opinion of GJ. Hopefully that makes sense. If it did, you guys know what to do. Hit that like button and we will have a look at the gold. All right, so it's just the chart I had marked in for the members before prior to the stream. All right, so looking at the gold, and what I can see is the weekly. So we are now, yesterday I mentioned as well, if we were to pop above that previous weekly candle high, there's a good chance that we could continue to the upside, potentially heading towards that 2720 region. We're going to mark in the current weekly slash, I think it's the daily high, or it could be the previous daily high, obviously. But based off that week closure, now when I feel there's a good chance we could continue to the upside. So now we are engulfing on the weekly, so I'd call that a bullish candle based off the current candle itself. Looking at daily structure, it is still bearish, but that previous candle did close bullish, leaving a long wick to the upside below this resistance, where what we can see is within the current daily candle formed a lower wick, and we're now heading back up towards the high of that previous daily candle. So let's see what we've got above it. Let's also see what we've got below the current daily candle, if there is to be any sort of reason or catalyst to look for sells below that level. So technically bearish, but with bullish counter probabilities on the daily time frame. So we've got weekly bullish, daily bearish. 4-hour structure remains bullish, and what we can see is we've created that higher high. We've retested, popped back below that resistance, but now we are currently hovering back above it. So now this is our range. I'm not so concerned by that to the left anymore. And this is going to be our current 4-hour range, the support at the current daily low and the resistance at the previous daily candle's high. Now it is likely at this stage where we're going to be looking for our potential entries, either from rejection of the resistance, bouncing off support, below the support, or above the resistance. Pretty simple. That's likely what we'll be looking at, but the 30-minute might suggest another story. So let's have a look. And that is technically bullish in structure. So what I'd be doing now is, well, it's a lot cleaner below this support, but for the time being, we're just going to drag it down to the most recent level, which is just there. I'm going to leave it at that, because if it does drop, then we're going to incorporate the support a little bit lower down, and it's much cleaner below 26.53 if we were to look for sells out of the range. Then what we can currently see on a 30, we are bullish. It is very, very choppy price action at the moment. So not going to make it very easy to trade this range for the time being, unless, so obviously I'd be looking for continuation buys above the high. We do have some clean traffic to the left. If we were to break above that previous daily candle's high, we could look for potential options to buy it. I would consider the impulse entries also. It just depends on how we approach. We do have rules as to when to take the impulse entry, when they're more highly probable. So I'll be following those rules and seeing if they do eventuate. Otherwise, just simply waiting for a nice closure above the high, retest, and there's your safer option, if there is such a thing. Every trade is a risk. Now, further options for the buyers, if we were to make a clean move down, now we don't necessarily need to come all the way back down to this 4-hour support. If we do, the cleaner the move, the stronger the move down, the better the options are on the way back up. So really looking for the buyers pretty much anywhere around that support or just above it. We do have some levels prior to it that we could reject, so we could be looking at that 26.65 sort of region, or even if we pop up and then pop straight back down towards 26.67, 66, we could also potentially look for options to buy it from there. Now, with the bias being technically bullish now, still not against selling it. If we were to, similar to GJ, look, it's a little bit different though in a way that you can argue it's creating some high lows, high highs within the current daily candle. But if we were to pull up to the resistance at that previous daily candle's high, only to reject and make a relatively clean move up, we get our strong confirmation in price action, then for me, I would definitely contemplate some options to sell it from around that 26.75 to 74 sort of region. Just trading the range at that point. As I mentioned to the members yesterday on a more than hour-long education session, a really good one. For those who haven't watched it, it's a must. We always got to think about where are we on the chart. So irrespective of the bias, irrespective of the structure, unless it's just overwhelmingly to one side, unless it's just screaming bullish, there is nothing wrong with just looking for, obviously it's a little bit late possibly to look for buys right now on gold if you're not in from earlier today, so you're best to wait for it to pop above. But in the meantime, if it rejects, nothing wrong with looking for a potential sell from the resistance. So that's what I've been looking at on the gold as well, guys. Hopefully that made sense, and if it did, you guys again know what to do. Hit that like button, and we will see what eventuates moving forward. Let's just look at GJ, no calcs to sell it. So who we got here today, guys? Don't be shy. Steve, great to hear it, mate. Well done. Nags, welcome to you. Franco, good morning to you. Nags, great to hear it. Good work as well. Franco, yep. We'll be back. All right, mate. No worries. We're counting. Yep. Aren't we now? So we're 50 minutes in. So Rick, good morning to you. Late to the party. All good, mate. All good. So December has been a really, really good start to the month. So looking to end what has been again, a very, very good year on a high note. And my worst month for the year last week, and it was still last month, sorry, and it still ended just in a profit. So it could have been a lot worse. To be honest, guys, if it was about 5 years ago, that would have ended up in a fairly substantial loss, because I probably would have tried to get it back up higher. So it was not a bad result in the end. Now let's just come back down to repetition, consistency, doing the same thing over and over again. And following the plan is the most important part of it all. Did call the JJ buys from this point in the members group probably about 2 minutes before it would have triggered in. It's a tough one because I came back to the computer after having some dinner, like I mentioned, and it looked pretty good. So straight away let the members know I was looking at GJ if it broke its own high. So yeah, but we'll see what we can come up with in the next hour and a half, 2 hours or so. Just gone live on TikTok as well if anyone prefers to watch it on there. Yeah, nice one, Alex. I just saw your chart. That's quality, mate. So you got in a little bit earlier. That's also good. Yeah, I got in on the 30-minute confirmation. You've used the 15, which is also, I mean, that's the time frame you're happy to use on GJ, and then by all means. For me, I'm more comfortable using it on gold, the 15-minute time frame, but not as yet so much on GJ. It doesn't mean I won't look through the 15-minute to see what sort of confluence and what, you know, price action is printing. But once again, as far as what I am trialing over the holiday break is the 15 and 5. Delta, welcome. Members, I will send you guys a link. All right, feel free to join, members, if you are interested. Speaking of, I do have, just for this last week and a bit or whatever of training for the year on YouTube, I've got a special little offer for you guys. You can check out that little offer if you are interested in VIP by using the code pinned to the top of this chat. So if you are interested, just have a look there. Don't forget to type in YTCHAT in capitals, and you see what sort of surprise you will get if you are interested in joining. Rockmain, welcome. So just waiting on some sort of catalyst now on GJ at the moment. Don't have anything. Prefer it to pop up towards that 193.10. We have popped up to 193 flat, which is also obviously a psychological round number. So we potentially could reject at this point. Maybe perhaps create that lower high on the 30-minute time frame, and may have options at that point to sell it. I would prefer it to pop up higher low. Gold is just consolidating. Let's have a look at the news. I've got to do so before. Today, RBA has held the cash rate. I'm not sure what came out statement, but the Aussie dollar is just dying. So very sucks to be me at the moment, because my poor old Aussie, that I send across pretty much weekly, is just getting absolutely wrecked, completely wrecked. It's disgusting. OPEC meetings all day today. Anyone might be trading oil and things like that, keep an eye on that. Otherwise, nothing major, unless something breaks, obviously, which it could do. Who knows, for all the crap going on. So tomorrow is the day where things heat up a bit for especially the US dollar with core CPI month on month, year on year. Thursday's another pretty big day for the Aussie, the Euro, and the US dollar. Friday is the what day for the pound. So just obviously something to be wary of when you are looking to trade, guys. I would say that yesterday's education session with members was probably the best one yet. It was a real beauty, really good session. We covered what the optimal grading, like grading entries. Basically, we started to grade some of the entries. Spoke about many things yesterday. It was a really good one. Rockman, welcome to you. Kamaka, welcome. Hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Apologies if I'm not. All right, so what we have here on GJ is potentially in the next 20 seconds a bearish engulfing 15-minute candle. Now it's not yet a catalyst for me because it's the 15-minute time frame, but it could be potentially setting up a catalyst. It is closing quite significantly engulfing at the moment, so let's just say the next 15-minute candle is the close, perhaps somewhat like so. Would have preferred this to drop a little bit lower down, to be honest, close a little bit lower down. What I was going to say is then you're still likely going to have an engulfing candle. It did close weak bullish, but at this rate for close weak bullish, it's likely not going to be engulfing on the 30. And that could be enough for a dual catalyst as a potential sell option on the following 30. Not interested in taking off the 15. What it could still do is it could just tap into this, create the high low, and then head back up to create the high. So I need a stronger confirmation than just the 15-minute time frame for me. So that's what, at this rate, I'm going to be waiting for. Just see where this 30 closes for the time being. Then I'll reassess to see if there is a potential entry. Be Nazir, welcome. Thanks, your internet is very poor today, guys. That's not good. Doesn't make it easy to trade.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Everything on the PC is slow. Yeah, it's not great, mate. Sure it's the internet, or is it just it's not hardware issues or anything like that, is it? Planet FX, morning to you. What do you think about Bank of Japan maybe raise interest rates again at when is that? Tomorrow, is it? Thursday, is it? Not sure when it is, to be honest. Well, look, if it does, then I feel it would signal strength to the yen, which could lead to a bit of a sell-off on obviously the crosses like GJ, EJ, AJ, all those sort of pairs. That's pretty much what I think of it. I'm not much of a fundamentalist at all, to be honest. Does mean I don't read what's going on. 18, oh, is it 18th, 19th? Yeah, but the reason why is because, again, I'm a scalper, so I'm not so concerned. Of course, I need to know when the news is to be released. I don't want to get caught out in anything untoward. No, obviously, if it does, because with the high impact news, things do get shaken up a fair bit, so I don't want to get caught in any of that. I'd rather just wait and let it settle down. But obviously, off the back of it, what I'd like to see is it start to trend, and because if it does start to trend, then you're just looking for your pullbacks for potential entries or continuation sells or buys, whatever the underlying trend will be at that point. Otherwise, the worst thing it could possibly do is just this sort of candle, something like this, followed by something afterwards, which may look like that in the middle of a range, and then that's just a real pain. That just means you need to wait for it to create some clean moves once again within the range, cut through all that mess for it to become yet again tradable. Obviously something like that, clean move down or clean move up, rejection, so on and so forth. Yeah, Rick, I don't know. Is Kyle absent today? Danny Gel, welcome. Hope he's got a doctor's certificate, Mr. Kyle. He's not in the chat today. I remember those good old high school days. We used to get my mate to forge a letter because he had doctor's handwriting. And every parent had doctor's handwriting back in that day. Back in those days. And I just used to forge. My parents' signatures were so the easiest signatures in the world to forge. It's just like a little bit of scribble. We used to do it so often. How good things were back in those days. The good old days. And things were a lot more simple. Maherka, welcome. The good old days before all this technology, where people used to actually socialize. Used to be out in the street playing footy and cricket. Here he is. Still great, that's it. It's questioning your whereabouts, my friend. Saxy, welcome, mate. I haven't seen you on stream for a while. Hope all is well. Always good to have you on the stream. Black Life, good morning to you. Well, good day to you. Welcome, mate. LP telling man has to have some secrets. Oh, all right. That type of business. Lucky you. Sounds very interesting. We start today. All right. So GJ, we may be forming that weak pause just now on the 15, which will still close the 30-minute back a strong bearish candle. Now, for it to be considered weak, I'd want it to close basically at the low of that bullish candle, because now let's go back to the 30. And what that will look like is a 30-minute candle closing pretty much like so, which is an inside bar candle, but the entry would be had on the break of the 15-minute support, and it would be a weak support if it did close back around that horizontal, and that would probably validate for me. It will be enough to validate an entry for a sell if it begun to break in anticipation of take back down to create that potentially higher low. In the meantime, I could, you know, get to the point where I can secure my 10 plus pips, yet break even if it does reject and pop back up. So that is definitely the rule I will set right now in the next 5 and a bit minutes. I want it to close back bullish and I want it to close below that horizontal. It may be wishful thinking, some of you are probably thinking it's what are the chances, but if it's to close below, it's probably going to flip bearish, and it may do so. The only other way I would consider it is bearish engulfing on the 30. Let's quickly look at gold. Gold is just consolidating, so there is nothing on gold. We'll keep an eye and focus on GJ for the time being. Come and see, welcome to you. So Bitcoin's had a pretty significant pullback. A lot of altcoins have had some pretty significant pullbacks. I've personally been triggered into some really sort of wishful thinking sort of limit order buys, which I was pretty happy to see when I checked before. It's meant though that some of my positions, one of my positions actually that was in significant profit, has gone back into some drawdown, but the 4 other positions are all safely in profit. So that's the thing with crypto, you always get these liquidity grabs and these shakeouts and things like that. So it's always good to have like a limit order at a level that it's realistic but not probable for it to hit, unless there is a big, you know, sell-off, for instance. And if you're lucky, your order gets filled. All right, so GJ popping back up. Now, if it did close bullish engulfing, that's normally a strong catalyst for an entry to buy. The issue right now is there is no margin to the upside, so I'm avoiding the buys. So the fact of the matter is, if you wanted to be in buys, that was the entry there, which I was in. Some of the members were in. Nag said he was in, which is good. So secured profit on that one. Now I'm just waiting for things to set up yet again for some further potential options. How about you guys? Anyone currently looking at any positions on anything? Feel free to let me know, or if you are currently running any positions, let me know. Rick, you're waiting for gold? Yeah, it's just very, very choppy at the moment. I do understand that you trade a slightly different setup using some of my confluences, so maybe you'll have a potential entry, I'm not sure. But for me, there is absolutely nothing at the moment. Not even close to an entry at the moment on gold. All right, so nice strong closure to the upside on GJ. For me, I can't buy into this resistance, so now it's basically waiting to see if it does pop up and react to it, and then that's where my next potential entry point will be, more so obviously to the downside. Then we can look for entry. Rick? Oh, London move. Yeah, maybe exactly. And what GJ is doing right now is that this normally would have, or shouldn't say normally, but this type of scenario would eventuate quite often after you've had a counter closing like so on a previous counter. And like I mentioned before, if it's at a level that you want to get involved in a trade, let's say you've got the margin, if you were to take about lower wick, you're taking it in anticipation that it's going to pop up to that 10 plus bits before it rejects, because for the most part it eventually does come back down to create a small lower wick. Whether you can get to break even at that point or not, or you can already have secured some profit or not, that's a different story. I feel it's more probable on gold than what it is on GJ. But personally, like I mentioned to my guys, my rule is I want some sort of low wick, and if it doesn't have it, I'd rather just sit it out personally and accept that it's just not my move. That's just my preference, because again, that's what works for me as well. Quickly take a look at GU for anyone who may be interested. All right, so 30-minute structure, I would call that bearish, but anyway, let's quickly look at the from the top down. So the weekly is forming bullish. It has pulled up to respect the hype that previous weekly candle. So pulling back quite significantly within its own candle itself. Looking at the daily, that's a pretty awkward candle in the previous daily candle. However, we still remain above a resistance here to the left. The structure is still also technically bullish, believe it or not, on the daily time frame. So therefore, so far looking for potential buy options. I'm marking that previous daily candle as low, and looks like there could be potential options below it. Also, the 4 hour would suggest that could be the case. Structurally, I'm arguing it's bullish. That just appears to be a bit of a pause in price action just there. The last swing point is this point here around that 127 sort of region. So technically bullish on the 4 hour structure, within the 4 hour structure itself. Just going to mark in these levels for the time being, onto the 30. And look, I'd argue that's bearish. So therefore the bias is technically bullish, with the 30 being currently bearish. So Sell below at previous daily candles low, definitely not, that's current daily candles low. Below it, it's probable will come back down towards that previous daily candles low. So definitely be considering that as a potential option. Sells below 127.357 to be exact. Impulse entries potentially, but I want to see a little bit of a pause in the price action. Maybe price bounce off this 127.40, right, lower high, then approach volume, then maybe consider the impulse entries below. Otherwise, safe to wait for the closures below. Now, the daily, actually the 30, sorry. I mean, you could argue it's flipped back bullish. So either way, what I'd be looking at is buys above 127.630, the resistance at that point there with the current daily candles high. If we were to break above it yet again, there was a high probability, pretty clean track to the left, that we could get involved. Or if you were trading GU, not me personally, you could get involved in buy options. Now, closures back below 127.450, you're going to flip the structure back bearish, but we've got the daily low, the support formed around the daily low at that level. And if price was to bounce off it, then I would not hesitate looking for a buy. The bias is still technically bullish, so buys from above 127.40. And if we were to reject the current daily candles high, so even if we popped above but remain below it, only to close below, or if we had, for instance, a 15 closure above and then a 15 engulfing back below, closing the M30 back below, and then potentially look for the sells from within that current daily candles high as well. So pretty much what I would be looking at on GU for anyone who does trade it and who might be interested. DJ, we have tapped into that support. No low wick, so if it was a 4-hour level, could be potential, could have been impulse entries for a sell, but anyway, it's not a relevant level for me. Paulius, good day to you. Rick, JJ. Quick full close we appreciate. Seeing us tapped in. Yeah, potentially is an early entry. Potentially. What I trade as, just don't feel a need, to be honest, my friend. Like I always say, less is more. There's nothing wrong if you want to trade multiple pairs and you're going to stick to your plan and rules. I just choose not to. And also because I'm not on for NY that often, and I feel the better moves on NAS come well into NY. I'm talking about like after the stock exchange open, which is well past my bedtime, so I'm not hanging around and staying up all night just to trade NAS when I can get some nice trades on GJ and gold. I've already got one nice trade on GJ today, so again, less is more. There is no need for me to trade it. Are you looking for potential silver sells below 31,765? Currently in GBPY past 4 days. Entry stops daily counts, very small risk. Oh, nice one. Happy to hear it. The silver sells below 31,765. Yep. I like it. It's not flipping any structure, but you're trading in line with the trend within a current day's candle. Current daily candle has created a significant upper wick and is now beginning to pull back. Within that pullback, what you've got is obviously create that lower high, and potentially that lower low, and that's where you're looking for your entry. So I think that makes perfect sense. What you've also probably got is the 4-hour candles. Yep, so you'll be breaking a 4-hour support as well, and still got a couple hours for that to be confirmed, but still, as far as an entry point, that looks to be a pretty good level to get involved in some sell options. Exactly that, yeah. Yeah, silver is but actually the volatility on silver is more than gold. These moves are quite a lot more significant in regards to percent wise. This is a 4.65% move. Let's measure the same move on gold. Even your corporate lows 1.86. Obviously it's a bigger asset class, gold, so it takes a lot more to move it, so it doesn't move. It still obviously has the volume and volatility, but silver is just, again, it's even more volatile because it doesn't take as much to shift it as what it does for gold. It's a smaller market cap than gold. NAS and SP, so SP 500. Yeah, they will do that occasionally, not often. DY91, welcome. TikTok people click. They're on for a second, they're off again. Probably looking for dancing girls, that's what they're looking for. So there's some guy staring at his candles, having no idea what I'm doing. Alright, so is GJ going to reject and close weak bullish? That could potentially provide a risky sell option, but it will be based off the fact that we have potentially, upon breaking a low, may have confirmed that lower high within the current daily candle itself, respecting the resistance formed at that 193.10 level after tapping into it. So that is probably what we could be looking at. Still got a lot of water to flow under the bridge just now, just under 17 minutes remaining. So anything could still happen. But potentially we could be looking at that as an option at London Open now. You've only got about 10 to 12 pips to this support. So if it was to be the case and we could get the entry, I would not be greedy. And what I'd be doing is just getting to break even as soon as it taps into this support in case it does reject, or it to create that higher low. End up breaking above the resistance here and heading back up towards that previous daily candle high, breaking the current daily high, heading up towards the previous daily candle high. So for me to consider it a weak bullish candle, let's use the fib and let's see where do I want to close below. Definitely 23.6. That would be a weak enough closure. It was below 23.6. And again, it's just making every trade rule based. So you're not approaching and you're thinking about, well, I'm not sure if I should or shouldn't. That's the rule I created just now for it to be valid. Very simple process. Closes above it, I don't enter. Which pair is this? Ham done. This is Great British Pound JPY, GJ. I do prefer to trade gold. The thing with gold right now is it's just not really tradable. The price action right now is very choppy at the moment. So me, gold, I need to wait. I don't have any confirmation to take any entry for the time being. So my focus for now is GJ. It is currently rejecting. The other option will be if this closed bearish engulfing on the 15 without making the move completely back down, giving us enough margin to at least get to break even. That taps into this support. I mean, that is going to be the other option if it does present. Ham done? Yeah, I do. That's my favorite pair, gold. That's my primary focus, but the fact of the matter is right now it's not really tradable in my opinion. For me, for the way I trade, I'm well off any sort of confirmation at the moment for an entry. What I really need to see in this sort of situation is price start to cut through some of these trash to the left. It's more evident on the 30. It's just wicks after wicks. As soon as you break this, you've got some more support just here, and then you're running into the 4-hour support. So in this situation, I prefer for it to create a clear move down and then provide my price action catalyst for potential buy options, or vice versa, create a clear move up, reject, look for my catalyst to sell it, or leave the range. So to the upside, above, to the downside, probably needs to be below 26.53.40 for me to get involved in, again, cleaner areas of price action with more margin. So thanks. All good, mate. You take care. Hopefully you have that sorted for tomorrow. Always a pleasure being here with everyone. Stay winning, guys. And to you too, my friend. Well done on your earlier GJ buys.
Hey, good morning, my friend.
How are you, mate? How's things?
Yeah, I'm okay. I was at the doctor this morning.
Okay, hopefully all is well.
Normal appointment for blood test.
Okay.
And
Cool.
you?
All
you
good,
okay?
mate. Yeah, all good. Just watching. At the moment, gold is a bit of a mess at the moment, so not really focused on gold. More keeping an eye on GJ for some potential impulsive sells without the confirmation of the 30-minute closing back bearish. If it closed below 0.236 on a fib on this current 30, that would be a weak enough closure after rejecting the resistance, potentially confirm that lower high in the current daily candle. Off the back of that, I may consider selling it as it begins to break its own low. That's about it.
It was a nice call from you this morning. I missed it. I was not looking at the Discord channel.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
fair enough, mate. Yeah, worked really well. Had no drawdown, which was, it's always a good thing.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I was looking in the morning on GU.
Yeah.
GU buys, but it was 1 hour before pre-London open. Yeah, correct, this one.
Yeah.
And yeah, my rule of thumb, which I don't know, determined a year ago, not to trade before pre-London.
Yeah.
So because of the less volume and so on, and therefore I didn't take it.
Yeah, look, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
It's probably the one time a day I would be a little bit doubtful when it comes to, but then again, actually, it's the closure of the Asian session as well, coming towards the closure. It's not, I think it's closed just now or about to close. So there is a bit of volume.
Now London open and the Asian is still open?
I think it's just closed about maybe an hour ago.
Okay, makes sense, yeah.
Oh no, it's still open.
Still open, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there's an overlap.
Yeah, it's overlap. Sydney is closed, obviously.
Yeah.
But the overlap, I mean, it's more so when you've just jumped onto the charts. I mean, even for me, I was just jumping on. I'd done the analysis and in the market update video before I went off to make my dinner, came back and it was literally, what I noticed was it broke the high of that catalyst candle.
Yeah.
And it was pulling back bearish. So I thought, all right, so it must have popped up first and popped back down. So if it flips again, it's a quality entry. And then took advantage of it. Yeah,
pretty
got
good.
it caught out in time for the Discord, which is good.
So done for the day, huh?
Look, not necessarily. I'm still happy to look for entries. Secured basically the whole thing at 13. So
so you leave it a little bit longer and then
yeah, it just didn't leave the runner this time.
Okay.
Just decided to close. So as I mentioned, I'm starting to try to hold positions a little bit longer before it's securing some profit. All right, this is better on gold. Starting to move a bit. Yeah, I just needed to make a clear move because me, I'm not going to really be able to get involved in sales. There is no margin down to the 15-minute support just here. But if it makes a clear move down, we could begin to look for potential catalysts for buy options. Rick, GJ not giving us an entry. Doesn't look like at the moment. But anything can still happen. I mean, a lot of time in these streams, we tend to get the entry towards the end of the stream. So if we're patient, we still might get an option moving forward. Don't like that wick. Which you're talking about the current candle. Yeah. See, as I mentioned before, guys, it is probable it eventually would come back down and create some sort of lower wick. Whether you got to be able to secure profits prior to that or not is another story. Because for me personally, if it pops straight up, I'd want to get to break even. I want to secure profit prior to it pulling back down in case it did reject this resistance. So that was this candle. For those who just joined, did not have lower wick. Was not considering a buy either way. I was in buys from lower down. Mapanda, welcome to you. All right, this is better on gold. For 5-minute traders, you may have been able to find an entry. Jaro, welcome to you. Paul, how are you, mate? Welcome. Derek, is gold a sell? No, if you, for me, again, I trade off the 15-minute and higher on gold. If you were trading off the 5-minute, then maybe you could have got involved in sells. But for me, it's just not a strong enough confirmation for me to trust it just yet. We'll be testing things out a little bit in a break, the holiday period. But for me, what I'm seeing is good right now. Wanting it to make a clean move to cut through what has been a bit of a mess throughout the current daily candle. So the cleaner, the deeper the pullback just now into this towards the support, the better. Because then I want to look for my options to potentially be buying it in line with the trend, the bias, and the structure from the support. The only other time I would consider the sells just now, if it did again make that clear move down, pull back up, reject yet again, create an equal high slash maybe lower high, then I can potentially get involved. All right, so we've got London open, guys. GJ has closed, not weak, bullish. There is no entry for the buy. Now, very impulsive entry to just sell it right now because it's got no low wick. I'm not going to do it, but the probabilities are that at some point it could pull back to create that low wick, but I'm not taking it because it's not at a strong enough level. It has to be at a 4-hour resistance for me to consider that option, not a 30-minute level, because it is more probable just to burst through it as it's doing right now. So there is no entry for me on a GJ. Gold, again, the cleaner, the deeper the move, the better. So we just need to wait for potential catalyst from options. So the issue with just now executing a sell on GJ is, where do you place your stop loss? The technical level would be above the swing high, and that's probably about it. And you would have been looking at 20 plus pip. Not too bad, I suppose. But yeah, I'm not taking it, guys, not in it. Police, can I check you? Beats, where have you been, brother? Overall as well. Beats and Carl, you guys are late to class today. Naughty boys. No, I hope all is well, mate. So GU, yeah. So it's at the support where I look for options to buy it. Now, what I mentioned before, you could argue the bias is bullish across the... Actually, you can argue the 30s just flip back bearish. You can argue the bias is bullish, but with 30 being now bearish, I would still consider the bias from this level, but again, I need to wait for a price action catalyst. You should probably know what they are by now if you join here regularly. So that's why I need to wait for an option to buy it. Otherwise, buys above the resistance, most recent resistance form within a current daily at the current daily high. Otherwise, pullbacks with 30-minute structure, wait for it to form a lower high for a sell, and definitely would consider the sells below the current daily candle's low. Not in the current candle. I'd rather it close below. I'd rather it pause a little bit, seeing it's come from the daily high, and then I trust the sells below 127.357. JSP. What's that, mate?
I'm actually in the GU sell. I took it.
Okay, from up here.
No. If the broke off the low of its own low of the candle right now.
Oh, the current candle.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. Not concerned by support.
No, okay. Because for me the structure is right now bearish on the M30. And,
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, let's see.
All right, as long as you're willing to take that risk, I'd just be a little bit concerned that it's at the support. It could bounce off it. I could be wrong though. It doesn't mean I'm going to be right, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just remains to be seen. But hopefully it does drop.
Yeah.
Police was on holidays. Nice one. All good, mate. Pleasure. RJSP, you think it's bearish? What's GJ or gold? Thank you for the gift as well, my friend. Or GU. To be honest, I think all the majors are bearish against US dollar. But technically, the way I see structure, then GU, the bias and the timeframes I can determine the structure to give me my bias is actually suggest GU is more of a buy at the moment. But yes, I do agree that I think it's more to the downside. Gold will drop. Hopefully. Does that mean you're in a gold and sell at the moment? I mean, it's looking pretty good to drop, but again, I just don't have my price action catalyst as, you know, as good as the what can I say? It's exhilarating as it might be being involved in a trade, and as much as I might think it's coming down, I still just need to follow what's, you know, in all this, because it works for me. It's proven, it's tested, it works. So I can't just sell it because I don't have my confirmation. Brick gold is at a 30-minute fair value gap. Just here. But hasn't it already tested it? Like, how many times can it test it? I have no idea. I don't trade fair value gaps. Paul, you're short on gold, 26.68. What's the chance to keep falling? Nice one. Well, what I would suggest is don't be greedy, because you are approaching support. My target, I mean, it's at support just now. You could argue this 30-minute candle did form another support on the move up. But my target would be 26.60. Where is your textbook, Rick? It's not. It's the actual course. It's the original course, the PDF version, which I actually do sell, but I'm currently updating it. The updates are killer. It's much better, to be honest. The videos are all in the Discord, mate, in the VIP. Actual videos, but not the PDF. GSP, you agree about gold? To be honest, I've mentioned it many times, I want gold to absolutely melt. I really do. Because I believe in, as a store of value, in purchasing physical gold, physical silver, so I prefer to get in at a discounted rate. So I'm more for the long term. Alright, GJ, wow. Alright, let's look at something. Oh my god, look at that. Pretty much tapped into 50 and he's currently rejecting. Once again. Oh man, that could have been an entry. Very impulsive. But look at it. Again, I can't make this shit up, guys. Look how often it will react to the 50% in 4 hour zone. It's just uncanny how often it does it. Not sure how much this has already reacted, if it could have got to break even. No idea. But nonetheless, it has actually reacted quite strongly to it. How much profit would there have been? Not a great deal, 4 and a bit. But these sort of entries are very quick to get to break even. Because you're forming against, you're taking it against a very, in this case, that's a very strong candle. There's a lot of volume in it. So it looks like it could potentially push through it. Wow. There's something that's been breaking that we don't know of. That's the RBA. Let's look at fastball. thin air. Wow, look at this. DJ, absolutely on a tear at the moment.
Yeah, I closed 50% of GU.
Yep, fair enough. Again, it's just my concern it could bounce off this support. So Tesh, Mapanda, welcome guys. Rock Main again, welcome. Tell me when it's out. Oh, the manual. So that's the actual full course with all the text and screenshots as well included. Tesh, welcome to you. Thank you for liking the live. Appreciate it. All right. Now we could potentially start looking for gold catalyst. As long as this thing just doesn't bounce right now. We have tapped into a 15-minute support. So what I'm thinking just now is this, we're at about it's on the 5 minutes remaining current M15. Not going to buy it on the next M15, but I can start playing as to what I might want to see, or what I prefer to see. I want to see this candle closing very strong without it closing too strong where it pulls all the way back up, because then it just means you have no margin. And then if that was to be followed by a weak 15-minute pause, bouncing off this support here to the left, closing the M30 at that point back bullish, looking somewhat like so, then that would be enough for me to buy it on the next candle as it broke the high of the 30-minute. So again, it's just me planning ahead as to what maybe we could look for. Tesh, you're looking at gold. Yep. What are you looking at? Buys or sells? And if this 15 closed back bearish, then what we could wait for is to see if the next 15 closes pretty much bullish engulfing, or if not, at least above the 50% this wick closing back bullish. Then what that will do is leave once again a strong bullish candle, and that would close the 30 back bullish obviously. And once again, I would suggest maybe we've grabbed some more liquidity from the support on the 15-minute time frame, and that could be right for options to buy it. And if it continues to pull back just now, not a problem at all, because it just opens it up for even more margin sort of on the way back up. The cleaner the move right now back to that level, in my opinion, the better. Just means you need to probably wait a little bit longer for potential options. I'm not interested in selling it at the moment. As I mentioned before, I just don't have my confluences to do so. GJ, what a move at the open without the low wick. You're looking for buys? Yep, I'm pretty much also looking for the buys once I get the right confirmation. Can't work out why DXY 10-year yield bonds are spiking. The DXY isn't moving up with gold. Sometimes it does it. Of late, more so it has been. There's obviously a lot of strength in US dollar. A lot of it's to do with, you know, the fact that the other currencies are just an absolute wreck. To be honest, it's a meltdown when it comes to currencies. Currencies are losing their value because they just continue to print more and put, you know, the governments put countries in more debt. I think the US print something like $100,000 worth of debt every second. It's not a lie. It is some ridiculous amount like that. If you don't believe me, check it out, guys. And pretty much every major economy is the same. So obviously the US is still deemed to be the obviously the safe haven. the Aussie dollar is completely dying. The euro is also still slowly making its way down. I believe the euro will get back to parity and probably below it. I think the Aussie, as much as I hate to say it, will get towards that 50-cent mark again. 55 cents. I don't want that to happen, but it's likely. And even GU, I reckon about $1.10. With just what's going on everywhere around the world as well. Most Western economies are really up shit, so especially the German economy, from what I've been hearing, UK as well. The Aussie economy is just not growing as well. Been in recession for probably a few years now. As much as they may not admit it, it's just evident for those who live here. So people will park their money in US dollar and yield bonds.
Yeah, and the prediction for the German economy for the next year is very bad. So in comparison to the complete EU,
yeah,
it's the half of the growth of the complete EU only for Germany. So
yeah,
it's not really look good for Germany.
No, and it's still the #1 economy in the Eurozone.
Right. Yeah.
So it doesn't look good for the euro in general, the actual currency itself as well. To be honest though, the euro seems to be I'm not just talking about the currency, but the actual Eurozone seems to be really breaking down at the moment. It seems to be quite divided from an outside perspective. Obviously with war going on, things like that. There's a few countries which prop up the EU zone completely, and the others. But I would not be surprised if the EU eventually, falls. To be honest. Rick, USD is the safest currency because it eliminates everyone that is threat to US dollar value. Yeah, it's always deemed to be the safe haven. Alright, so GJ, still hovering at that resistance. Sorry guys, once again, it's a bit of a tough one at the moment. Today, the best move so far came very early. A lot of you probably weren't on the charts at that point, but that was so far the move of the day. And once again, it's another thing I mentioned to my guys quite often is sometimes you've just got to look at it. If you've missed the move, not much you can do. You just need to wait for it to set up again. Don't force anything, reassess and wait for once again for your plan to present, your plan to present. Sam, welcome to you. JJ reached where it stopped yesterday, waiting to break it. Yeah, to the upside. Would love to see a bit of a pause here though, before it breaks it. This is very similar to yesterday, if you guys remember. We had a pause well below the level of clean traffic. And it did not stop though. It's like 50% of GJ may have worked. Yeah, I'm not sure if it would have been taken out at break even already, or would still be in it, or would have closed it in some drawdown. would have been a pretty tight stop loss. This stop loss would have been back above it, which you never would have actually hit if you had have held it. And you'd be now in what, 6 pip profit, 7 pip profit. So you took it, Carl. Are you putting your hand up? You did, well done, mate. Typo. Oh, okay. Yeah, but for now, yeah, it does look like it would be playing out. But it's just something to keep an eye on, guys. It often does react to it, and in this case, it actually closed at it and looked at now reject. Whether you can look for other confluences tied in, maybe even off the minute, is something you want to perhaps look into. But for me, I haven't gone that far. I've just gone as far as to actually look what happens when price literally taps into it. And quite often it will reject. So yeah, interesting to see. Rockman, thank you for liking the live. Sure, it's with the TikTok algorithm. I think it's the time of day because it's, I think, focused towards my region, and it's obviously around dinner time here in Oz. Are we going on GU, Frank? Are you still holding the trade, or what's the deal? What's the update? Might not be at the computer right now. All good. I mean, personally for me, if EU closed engulfing right now, that'd be a very good option to buy it. Because that was to be the case when what you guys the liquidity candle at a level of support. So this is the where I look for that type of scenario to happen. What I mean by that is you've broken a lot of that previous candle. You would have closed back above it and likely would grab liquidity from this zone to downside. And from my data and my experience, what's likely to follow is a little bit of low wick and move up towards the highs. So something I would consider if it was to occur on GJ and gold. Dennis, good day to you. Welcome, mate.
Hey man, had a call, sorry.
All good, mate. All good.
I'm out at BE right now, so
Okay.
cut half at minus 5.5 and then
Rest of break even.
At 3 pips, 3.3 pips, and then I set to BE and then I got stopped out at.
So it's a small loss probably by the end.
Yeah.
That's all right. I think you managed it quite well.
Yeah, I was clear with the risk I took here. So and I wanted to give a try to that.
Yep, that's fair enough.
It didn't work out.
Yeah, as long as you're accepting of your risk.
Yeah, important is to cut it. So that's the point, and not keep running and so on and hoping. So that's the point.
Yep, nice one. Watching JJ reject just now. All right, so now gold to me has become the focus though. It's now at a tradable level. Gold digger, definitely, mate. But you know what? Name your price, mate. I'm just kidding. Well, gold digger's only reason we trade is to dig gold big time. That's exactly right. To build the bags. Well, I'm actually, and again, this is not investment advice, but what I'm personally doing is accumulating silver coins. I'm talking about pure silver, because the silver to gold ratio right now is at a ridiculous rate. It's like 80-1 or something. Where really I mean, the best it's got is like 15 or something like that. And the value is just, it's crazy. So when the silver to gold ratio goes down, then I just trade pretty much all the silver in for as much gold as you could possibly get. That's pretty much my plan. So similar to those who trade crypto and accumulate, will trade against Bitcoin, I suppose, to accumulate more Bitcoin. If that makes sense. Or some will trade, obviously futures and things like that to accumulate USDT, and then they park it in Bitcoin or ETH, because it's obviously a safer crypto, the safest. I'm doing a little bit similar with silver and gold at the moment. Alright, so still no catalyst just yet on gold, but we may have our first potential sign of maybe this could be the lowest point. Could yet still be a pause, so there is no real confirmation for me just yet. We don't have anything engulfing or anything like that. Fact of the matter is we've got a weak bullish candle with lower high, lower low, so that strong bearish candle. So I don't yet really have any catalyst to buy it, but we could have now the start of what could be maybe a bit of support forming. And if we can start to form something like that, then we could potentially be looking at some gold buys. DJ, similar to gold, but the opposite direction. Building at 15, it's not engulfing, it's not doing anything like that. Not breaking any minus support or anything like that. But nonetheless, good to see a rejection of that level. Now just need to wait for a price action catalyst. So I'll just remove that. And we'll see. Derek, which days do I trade during the 2 weeks Christmas holiday? To be honest, I don't really trade live. But what I do is I take the time to do some testing. That's how I came about this particular entry when the price taps into the 50%. A few other entries I tested last year. I was made aware of the interruption entry and with looking at it before the year's end last year, and I think I was sort of starting to trade a bit, but I tested out properly during that holiday break. But personally, I don't usually trade live. I did say to the members, we may keep a little bit of an eye out on the live charts, maybe go some lower risk entries, but most part it will be used for practice purposes, just to test out what I want to test, which is the 15 and 5 minute. 100 plus odds NBA bets. I remember that name. Hope you're well, mate. Oladapo. MP, welcome guys. London. But personally, it's been a really good day so far. With the earlier GJ buy, and now I'm just filling and waiting for another option to present. At the moment, I don't yet have it. If I know if I was to wait patiently, whether it be now or into NY or whatever, likely going to get an option. On rejection on GJ. All right, so let's wait and see how this 15 closes. Zeshan, welcome to you. I hope we form a higher wick as the previous lower. What I'm really wanting to see similar to what I mentioned a little bit earlier, where we have a strong 15-minute closure followed by a weak closure, closing a 30-minute bullish, and we're starting to get that little staircase moving away from this support here to the left. And then I could basically look for the entry as it breaks the pause and on the 15 and the M30 bullish candle high. Again, it's just something I'm really confident with, those sort of entries, trusting them. It's the data, I've got the data to back it up. Moha, welcome. Weak bearish wick. Yeah, strong bullish and weak bearish for me would be fantastic. Steph, welcome. Lego, welcome to you. PJ popping back up, taps into this resistance to the left. That's one thing I want to make note of, members, is something that we were testing. We're looking for these sort of setups on the sim session over the weekend. Good to see it would have worked, so take note of it. I'm gonna screenshot it. Maths trade, welcome to you. So gold's looking okay. We don't want to completely pump at the moment. We want to chill a little bit around the current level. Obviously not listening. Jaro, welcome to you.
Hey Justin,
Yeah.
I've looked right now that you have mentioned this 5 minute on on gold.
Yeah.
Liquidity. So if you would look on GU, I think there's something similar. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
15 and using a 5 minute.
and even also the M30 in this case.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, GU looked good. GU looked really, really good. I think I mentioned when you were on the phone.
Yeah, could be.
But yeah, if this closed, preferably engulfing, but very close to it. If that was gold or GJ, it's easy to say after the fact, but I reckon I would have looked to taking that buy. Bouncing off the 4-hour support, bouncing off the daily low. You've got the 15-minute liquidity candle. You've got just the add confluence, break of the 5-minute structure. Yeah, that does look good. Rick, Nasdaq longer than 2-minute time frame. Nice one. So let's see on gold. Still make him an option, but we need to chill a little bit for the time being. Strategy you explained to me last time. Nice one, mate. Well done. Rick gold playing this? Yeah. Yeah, look, I really want this to close up near its high. Last thing I want is for it to leave a massive wick to the upside. I mean, the other option would be bullish engulfing M30 as well, even if it did leave a long wick on this 15. As long as the 30 closed bullish engulfing, because then we'd have another strong M15 closure as well prior to any entry. So don't go nowhere, guys. There still could be an option on the within the next little while anyway. On closure of the hourly, potentially. We may have further confluence. The hourly may close back bullish with a lower wick. So it's not over yet, guys. We still could get options.
Justin.
Yep.
And we would maybe close them also above the recent resistance. Support, sorry.
Just here?
On the left side. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Good indicator,
correct. Just adds to it. The more you can gather, more confluence is in my opinion, you feel more relaxed in a trade. You've, done your own due diligence to make sure it ticks the boxes. There's enough of a reason to enter. So yeah, that's definitely another one. Looking forward to NY because I think it's one of the first sessions I've had in ages where it hasn't been news. So we don't have to be so concerned about waiting for after the news and things like that, which is usually the case. All right, so rejecting again. Maybe it is playing some games at the moment. May not be ready just yet. May want to come back down to the 4-hour support. But we'll stick around and wait a little bit. You don't like the game I'm playing here at the moment. Let's switch games. Yeah, the other game doesn't look that great too. That's GJ. EU looks half decent. AU look great. How's EuroCAD looking? That support's bullish. Nothing there. Just yet. Let's look at. I haven't looked at this for a while. German 40. Nothing there. US oil. Don't like trading it. How's silver going? Alright, so close below that level. Not sure if Mr. Cole got involved, but now it's popping back above, and engulfing could be a catalyst to buy silver. Maybe just to sweat the daily low to grab some liquidity and head back up, potentially. Asian low target Rick for gold, then we might switch bullish. Yeah, potentially. Alright, what do we need to see on GJ? Close to bearish engulfing, and we could have a sell catalyst. Alright, so we'll keep a bit of an eye on GJ. GJ may present, because at the same time we have a 30-minute closing back bearish, twice rejecting that resistance. We could have the hourly closing back weak bullish as added confluence, or may even close back bearish. So there still could be options on GJ, guys. So I think that is likely going to be the focus. Carl didn't take it. Very strict with retest and silver. Trade it very sparingly. All good, mate. I totally understand, because it is a very volatile asset. So yeah, so probably best to wait for a strong confirmation, such as your closures, and then retest, and then enter as it breaks again. I think you've done the right thing. But yeah, guys, GJ is now the focus. Let's see if we can't get involved in some sells on the new hourly candle in just over 11 minutes from now, 11.5 minutes. Closing the 30 again near its low would be fantastic. Rick, Carl, I know why we're not having trades this morning. No shots of whiskey, no beers. I reckon I'm going to get a few for the last stream of the year, which is likely going to be next Wednesday, I'd say, at this stage. That's the 18th, if I'm not mistaken. Today is the 10th, isn't it? Yeah, probably sometime around this day next week, or possibly Wednesday. So I'll probably have a beer in hand for the stream. Just to, you know,
be careful, maybe you will be banned.
No, I don't think YouTube are that harsh on it, to be honest. YouTube are cool. TikTok probably will get banned. I don't think you can drink live on stream, but I just won't I'll cut the stream before cracking open a beer if that's the case. But nah, YouTube are pretty cool with it, to be honest. But no, yeah, I'll just chuck it in a what's it called, protein shaker or something. No one know the difference.
A cup of coffee.
Yeah, a cup of coffee. It's actually, it's funny, that's what they do in Thailand when it's a public holiday, a important public holiday, such as a big Buddha day, which you're not supposed to serve alcohol. And I have respect, so I generally won't drink on those days. But you see a lot of the bars will serve beer and that in cups of coffee, and it's so obvious. It's so freaking obvious. But it seems to be fine. It's like the police know as well. But as long as it's in a cup of coffee, whatever, they turn a blind eye to it. They don't worry about it. And what they normally do is put an empty can or something next to it sometimes as well, just so they, you know, makes it look like you're drinking a can of Coke or something.
I was after the doctor when I went home.
Yeah.
Or drive home. I was giving up some to Amazon something back, and there was a kiosk. You know what a kiosk is? Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was already some people drinking beer in the morning, so
okay.
It's 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that.
Oh man.
Yeah, it seems a little bit too early, but look, I'm not going to say I haven't done that, but not for a long time, but I have done it before.
Really?
Yeah, it's more the tiny year. It's just part of it. You wake up, it's like, come on.
Oh, okay.
Don't be a party pooper. Here's the first one for today. And then you start with the big water fight, and yeah. It's a fun celebration, but you can't do it for too long. It just, yeah.
Yeah, I think if you are doing sports, so it's quite difficult then if you are drinking too much alcohol for sports. So.
Yeah, very true. It takes a lot longer to recover, especially at our young age.
Yeah, we're getting older.
Exactly. It's not as easy to recover from these things what it was when we were younger. Alright, so the focus is still GJ, but it has to close right near the low. Pulling back up. Alright, is it gonna present? Still got over 6 minutes. Thank you for the sub. So let's see. Even gold could potentially still pop up. So obviously the preference is for it to close engulfing, but it may not need to as long as it closes up near its high. You could also be putting a inverse hammer. Now I remember back in the day we used to trade these and on low risk, but you get phenomenal risk rewards on these things. So what we used to do was basically stop loss was below the low of the candle, target was the high. It is very, very risky, so I don't recommend doing it because your stop loss is like 5-6 pips, but you take it in anticipation it's going to create, if anything, a tiny low wick and fill that wick on a new candle, fill the wick on the previous candle. But that was when I probably didn't take it as seriously then. Now to me it's not the right confirmation. But what I was going to say is what you could use to add confidence to it is if this candle closed weak bearish and you're breaking that little minor resistance. But for me, what I prefer to see is a strong closure right now. If we close right up near the high, then we could have options to buy gold. GJ needs to reject. Needs to close near its low, and I'll be looking to sell it. If it doesn't, there is no entry on GJ.
I'm looking maybe to give GU another try. If we closed bearish on the 1 hour, so that means we are closing below the former resist support right now.
Yeah.
Not the actual one at the end, so which we are creating on the M30, sorry.
So below the wick here, or you're talking about?
No, I mean, yeah, it's not a must, but it's it should be at least at the closing
Below
at
the
the
body.
half of, yeah, at
Half
least
the wick.
Yeah, correct. So, and because then we have that on the 1 hour, a very nice bearish candle with a big upper wick.
Yeah.
So, and this maybe leads me that we can have maybe
Yeah, potential options. I think that's a better idea.
downside.
I think it's a better idea than your first attempt, because for me, we're still above that support. But in this case, for me, the impulse entry below would also be valid if you close around that level, because you're closing at that point also below 50% of this zone. So it's a strong enough close. You've rejected the range above. So that would suggest we've grabbed some liquidity from this range again. And if we were to begin to break below, in my opinion, that level, but if up to you, it's fine. If if you want to choose that previous candle wick, that's also okay. There's clean traffic to left. There's a high probability that price could eventually make its way back down towards that 127.20 sort of region. So I think it's a pretty good plan.
Yeah.
All right, 2.5 minutes. Let's see. Will it reject? Let's look at gold. Yeah. Probably going to avoid it and focus on now. DJ looks like it would be, I don't know, the better of the two, but it doesn't, it's still way off presenting at the moment. Maherka, welcome. Minute and a half left. Let's see. Now that gold buy would be tempting, but it just looks, it does not look good on the 30. It really doesn't. 15 doesn't look that bad. You've got that minor resistance forming. Stop loss wouldn't be that wide. Your entry would be above the minor resistance. For me, it's a very, very risky entry, because of the fact that this 30 would be closing a very, very weak candle. Yeah, it looks like it's closing too strong as well. 30 may actually close back bearish.
Oh, GU is coming.
Yeah, GU's getting there, getting close. Not a bad closure on gold.
No, I didn't like it on GU.
Yeah, it needs to close a little bit lower down. How about GJ? No, GJ's now just really doesn't have the momentum in my opinion. Yeah, gold's a bit tricky too.
Also the 1 hour is very weak, bullish
On GU?
on GU, yeah. So at
Yeah,
night,
depending on the broker, obviously. Alright, so that's really risky entry if anyone's interested. Once again, I've already had a good day, so I'm not going to risk it on this, but your entry will be just there as it breaks the high of that weak bearish candle. Stop loss would have to be below it. For me, it's not good enough in my opinion. That's pretty much all I see. That sort of makes a bit of sense right now, but I don't take anything. It just makes a bit of sense. I hunt for quality. I mean, it's just not quality enough to warrant an entry. Tommy, welcome mate, morning to you. Yeah, so alright guys, let's take another look at things and see what we can come up with. So GJ, the fact of the matter is, depending on your broker, but in this particular one there still is no candle closing back bearish. I would prefer, in all honesty, to still wait a little bit longer and see if I don't like these long wicks, to be honest. It needs, in my opinion, to close below it. And if something like that was to eventuate, then perhaps you could get involved in sales. But again, don't force it. If it comes to you, fantastic. Not, you can always miss it and look for the buys lower down. Otherwise, buys above and buys from the support. And for me on gold, I still want to get involved somewhere around these lows, whether it's come down a little bit lower first of all, and then pop up. Once again, when I start to see that kind of staircase forming, 15 would suffice. Even if you wait for a bullish engulfing M15 just here, that's not the worst option. It's a stronger option than taking the impulse entry just now. At that point, there's a good chance it will pull up to fill that wick. Yeah, that's probably the only thing I would consider personally. But to be honest, I think I'm gonna go take a break because I have a date with the members later. Just tricky day once again, guys. The move came earlier. It was good to see some of you did get involved. I wasn't the only one. Once again, I did send that into the VIP. I do have a special discount code if anyone is interested. Have a look at it. If you want to know more, feel free to message me. Otherwise, guys, do trade safe. I'm going to call it, and I'll see the members a little bit later on. Yeah, have a good one, guys.
yeah,
Sorry about today.
See you later.
No worries, Franco. Catch you later. And TikTok, appreciate you. Tune in once again tomorrow. You can also follow me on YouTube as well, so just look me up on YouTube. Sharif, I'll catch you later. Everyone else, YouTube, TikTok. Okay guys, catch you later. See ya.